I want to talk about this. Something happened yesterday. We was kind of chilling, and so you always breaking down the tape, and you doing all the things behind the scenes. And so we on the show yesterday, and usually we get a rundown on the show of what we gonna talk about, right? So we already know kind of what we gonna say, but we never know what exactly everybody is gonna be saying. Like, it's just impromptu. So we go to the show, we do the show, and something blew up. It just blew up. So we sitting there, and Bull says, hey, somebody told me that Shedeur Sanders don't be sitting beside Dylan Gabriel. And they're like, oh, yeah, why he don't be sitting beside Dylan Gabriel? And you like, you kind of see my face. My face is like, it be telling on me. I'll be like, oh,
here we go.
Like, you talk about sitting me. Now, mind you, I know you, me and you good friends. We don't sit behind each other every single day. We don't even be talking for 2 weeks. It could be weeks I don't say nothing to Earl. We be in the same building. I was just like, guys, first and foremost, not even alone on whether or not that's accurate or not. I just want to get your thoughts and your opinion on why does it always seem, and even it takes me aback. I've been covering this game for such a long period of time, and even me, I don't be seeing where the narrative game be coming from. I'm like, why do you feel like it's so heavy with Shedeur Sanders? And it's like this thing where it's the hat, if he's in the camera or if he's talking to somebody. What's your thoughts on whether or not he should be sitting beside Dylan and Gabriel, if that's even a thing? What's your thoughts?
I didn't even know it was a thing until it came up on our show, quite frankly, the other day. It's not something that I pay too much attention to. I never really even paid attention to any other quarterback pairing that was here beforehand, right? I guess for me is the backup quarterback or the third string quarterback, do they got the headset on? Are they communicating with the quarterback coach? Are they communicating with the offensive coordinator? Like, I don't know, maybe sitting like next to your veteran offensive lineman might do you more justice than sitting next to the quarterback. I think wherever you sit your ass at on the bench is where you sit your ass at on the bench. I don't really try to buy too much into that. I think when it comes to Shedeur Sanders, though, I think people need to really understand that anytime that you make the choice to put his name in your mouth, that if you kind of not careful with how you articulate things, you're going to trigger other people's emotions. And that's just the reality of the situation here, because the thing with Shedeur has really, really heightened people's emotions one way or another from the beginning of the draft process to now, that it's just easily to trigger. And I think that, with the hat backwards and things like that, I ain't going to say his name, but when I seen that, I kind of like put it out there. Like, when I seen him in person, I'll let him know he tripping. And shout out to my employers for allowing me to sit there with my hat backwards when I'm on the radio, when I'm right here on UCSS or wherever I'm at. I just think people are finding whatever it is to poke at. If you got an issue with him, I think there's another chapter of people out there who, just trying to run up some clicks and some views and trying to use his name to get to the next level. I think covering Shedeur Sanders right now, I think that, some people pick and choose how they go about it. I wouldn't go about it that way. For me, I like rap music. I like video games. I like food. I like being out here on the scene. Ironically, like, one of the people that was close to him was one of my favorite rappers, Young Dolph. So, like, if I ever got a chance to sit down right now with Shedeur Sanders, I'm not going to say I'm not going to talk to him about football, but Shedeur Sanders is not performing on the football field right now. He's on the sidelines. And so instead of putting me or him in a situation to where it can create a headline that can be spun either way, let's have some fun, man. Let's talk about some real stuff. Like in my mind, if Dolph was alive, he would be in Cleveland a little bit more because Shedeur was his homie, right? So what was Dolph like? Like, what was it like to be around Dolph? What did you pick up from him? What was their free game like? Or how you become acclimated to the city of Cleveland? You know what I'm saying? What's some of your favorite restaurants around here? Like, I've seen some of the things that you've done in the community. What you got next on that checklist? Like, how can we help you? Things like that, right? Like, just kick it with them, have a conversation with them, things like that. And I feel like a lot of people miss opportunities to connect with people on a human level because they worry about the other thing. And I'm not saying that that other thing is not important, but I tend to go about this thing my way.
Hey, listen, speaking of that, I'll get your perspective on this because, when it happened, I'm from Canton, that's Northeast. So I just like LeBron James say from Akron. It's a difference between Canton, Akron, and Cleveland, right? Yeah. And you from Cleveland, like, you know what I'm saying? You from Cleveland. So maybe you could break this down a little bit better for those that don't really understand, because a lot of people was commenting on what he did to go out there to the project houses and to really, say step in, aka whatever is the trenches called. And a lot of people thought, oh, that's a photo shoot. Maybe it ain't even that rough out there, whatever. You know the area where he went and what he did. What significance do you think that played? And what was your original thoughts when you saw him go out there? Because you from these neighborhoods, you from these places, and you know these communities.
So in my opinion, I think that when we talk about community give back and we talk about like charity and players just being out in the community, a lot of times, since in my small amount of time in this business, when I see where these events is held at and I check the addresses, they're always like on the west side or, just in these suburb neighborhoods. And I'm not saying like, okay, like that ain't cool. That's cool. But like kids in the hood need love too. Kids in the projects need love too. They probably needed a little bit more. Like people don't want to admit it, but your environment, it kind of plays a role in where your starting point is, right? Like the area you grow up in, like, the schools that you get the opportunity to attend, a lot of that dictate where you get your start at in life, right? So like, if you come from a 2-parent household and you grow up in the suburbs and you go to a private school versus you living in the projects, you go to like a public school who graduation rate ain't that high and things like that, that could be the difference maker on where you get your start at. Now, where you get your start at don't really dictate the outcome. We'll talk about that a little later, but it's the truth. When that situation took place and that fire happened, I looked at it like this. These are already people who really don't have that much, right? And for them to lose the little bit they have, you want to do whatever you can to be able to restore faith and hope. You want to do whatever you can to be able to put a smile on somebody's face, uplift somebody else. And for a lot of those like young kids that come from those areas, in my mind, seeing Shedeur Sanders pull up to be a blessing, that's something they're going to remember for the rest of their life. And when you going through something like that, man, you just want a break from your reality, right? And like for a young kid, they're going to remember that for the rest of their life. Like, that's dope.
Yeah, listen, I've always told people, and, the chat, shout out to the chat. Earl is in the building, as you can see, showing love. Yeah, listen, that's why, these conversations are important, because a lot of people will say, oh, well, they can gloss over and say certain things. That's why I believe representation counts, because you got a situation, you got things where people is representing and people showing you what it is.